JF Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm in the studio. Come on. You know by now what that means. You know what to do. You get involved in the chat and the comments and let me know what's going down and what you think of all the latest Manchester United news. We're going to be talking about Frenkie De Jong, obviously, because where would we be without a good Frenkie De Jong story? Is this veering towards a saga, this transfer story? I feel like we're getting towards the sort of saga period now where it's dragging on a little bit and there's a few twists and turns. So we'll be getting into that and his latest comments away with Holland and what they may or may not mean. You can make your own mind up. We're also going to be talking about Christian Eriksen. Ornstein broke the story last night that United are in for Christian Eriksen. He's a free agent. There's a little bit of an update there. It's an update that's not an update, if it makes sense. It's comments he made a couple of days ago that people are now looking at in the context of what's going on at United and saying, okay, what does that mean? So we'll get into that. Also, there could be an outgoing or two in our goalkeeping department, so we'll talk about that. James Wood says, big up yourself, Jay. Santa Notch says, the man, with the J emoji, I like that. Danny Inns says, morning, Jay. Thank you. Thanks as well for everyone who's getting involved in the chat and the comments and all your support. Moali says, has the deal ever been on? Yeah, I'll get into De Jong in a sec. First of all, we'll start with the Eriksen one because this was sort of the more sort of exciting or fresh one, shall we say. I think exciting is the wrong word. Yesterday, David Ornstein tweeted and did an article, I think, on about the fact that United are now in for Christian Eriksen. Listen, we all know what Eriksen's capable of. He did it at Spurs. Not quite as, didn't do quite as well at Inter, if being brutally honest, but came back to Brentford after the incident in the Euros where a lot of people thought he was going to have to retire. Came to Brentford and pretty much smashed it. Did very well. I think Brentford won, they won about 7 games or something when he was there. Something like that anyway. 4 assists, I think, and a goal. And just sort of, I wouldn't say rejuvenated, but certainly gave them a little bit of a boost. Because they were doing all right anyway, weren't they? But when he got there, they sort of, he gave them a little bit of a boost and they ended up doing very well. This was a team that many people expected to get relegated last season and they did well. So now he's a free agent. United are in for him. Apparently Spurs are in for him. Now, I think it was on Monday, he made the comment, he was asked about a decision on his future at club level and he said he wouldn't be rushed, basically. He said that there are many criteria and different things inside the decision. Sometimes it goes fast in football, other times a little slower. You're not in control of it yourself. I have to make the best decision and not rush anything through. My phone stays on, but I also know my agent well enough to know that he only calls if there's something exciting. So he's not going to be rushed. He says there his agent's only going to call him if there's something exciting. Obviously, he's going to know about the speculation. He's going to know United are in for him. We'll have to see what happens with that. The Spurs as well. I did see a funny tweet about Eriksen when the story broke that United are in for Eriksen. I saw someone quote tweet and said, hasn't he been through enough? Which you kind of, you get the humour in that one because United at the minute we're all over the gaff, aren't we? And last season was a shambles. But we've got Erik ten Hag here now. There's reasons to be confident, hopefully. Quite a lot of people in the comments. I'll get into some of the comments. Let us know what you guys think about Christian Eriksen. I think he's 30 in it, so he's not got loads of years left in the tank at the top level. But you'd expect him to have at least 1 or 2, and a free transfer. I don't think he'll be on astronomical wages. I think he'll be on 150 grand maybe, which is in the modern era is, especially at United where we give like 3 times that, don't we, to certain players. Tom Greenwell, says, Eriksen has a pacemaker and would show more heart than some of the players leaving this window. Ian Armstrong says, Eriksen is a no-brainer. Get him on board for free. Happily get him on board for free. Erim Ahmet says, does anyone else feel like we need to get the ball rolling ASAP with signings? Yeah, let us know what you think about that. Are you worried at all? Because you're looking at Spurs are doing bits, aren't they? I think they're in for Basuma. They're interested in Eriksen as well. You look at City, you've got the Haaland deal done quickly. I mean, done quickly. It's a bit misleading that because it was done over a period of time. A while ago, it was just announced on it quickly as soon as the window, opens. Nunes, the Scouts has got that done relatively quickly. Again, though, they were willing to pay what Benfica wanted. No one else was, including Manchester United, so it wasn't difficult. I think with some of our deals that we're trying to do, there's a little bit of back and forth between ourselves and Barcelona and Frenkie De Jong. And with the Eriksen one, he's got a decision to make. Hopefully he can make it soon, and hopefully he'll come to United. I think with Eriksen, and just giving my personal take on it, and do give us a like as well. There's over 1,000 of you watching, and we haven't even got to, let's get to 300 likes. Hit that like button if you're watching, please. Like the video. Come on, let's get to 300 likes. If you go say to me, our only midfield signing this summer will be Christian Eriksen, I'll be disappointed. I think, we've lost Nemanja Matic, we've lost Paul Pogba, regardless of what you think of those players. To lose two midfielders who played a lot of football for Manchester United, pretty much first teamers. Okay, you may be arguing Nemanja Matic wasn't all the time, but he certainly had enough games under his belt for United. To lose those two and only bring in one, and it's Christian Eriksen, who no disrespect to him, he's a 30-year-old player, so he's not here long term. It would be a little bit frustrating, especially you think, it's a free transfer as well, it's a free agent, it's Glazonomics. It just is, isn't it? If we get De Jong and Eriksen, and then hopefully some other signings as well, you can go, okay, that makes sense to me. I understand that, and I quite like it. I'd like to see Christian Eriksen at Manchester United. I think you need options in midfield. We're over-reliant on Bruno. We play him into the ground, and he's a player that sometimes, when he's overplayed, we can see he goes off the boil, but we just keep playing him. And there's a time when he needs resting, or he needs taking out the final line. Christian Eriksen could perhaps come in for Bruno. You've got Donny van der Beek as well. He may get another lease of life under Erik ten Hag. It's good to have those options. That's what I want to see. Sem Ossian says, Jay should change his name to Jay Hottie. Doesn't look a day over 30. Thanks, Sem. I do warn you about drinking in the morning. Thanks for that. Let's have a look at some of the other comments as well. We need Blade X says we need a CDM. Couldn't agree more. If I tried, I've been saying that for years. We do need a CDM. He seems to ignore that all the time, and it's like we play McFred there, or McTominay on his own, or Fred on his own there. Garner's not a CDM. If people are looking at him, maybe coming in, I know he can put a tackle in, but he's not a CDM. We need a CDM, and I don't even think we've been linked with anyone that strongly. Who knows what's going to happen there? James Wood says, we want Glaze out. We want Glaze out. I agree with this. MUFC Charlie, MUFC 65 says, United can get a CDM and midfielder for the price of De Jong. Kevin Shields says, would you take Kante? Yes. Whisper it quietly. I would. I know he's got injury problems, and I know he's 31, is he? But if it was between Kante and no CDM, I'll take Kante. Even if you only get 20 games out of him next season, it's better than nothing. But I'd rather we got a CDM that was going to play every week and has a bit more sort of longevity than N'Golo Kante. I think N'Golo Kante's best years are behind him. Phenomenal player. One of my favourite non-United players on the planet over the last decade or so. But there's a reason that Chelsea would be willing to let him go. So I'd rather we went and got someone a little bit more long-term. Jake McKenna says Neves or Sangaré. Yeah, I mean, especially with Neves, we're in quite a lot about him, aren't we? But I don't. There doesn't seem to be anything concrete, does there? It's always like, United Neves. There's nothing where you see like there's a bid there or there's something going on. It just seems to be a bit more speculation. P-Dog in the super chat has been a member of the academy for 18 months. Big thank you to all our members as well, supporters. Go and check out the members section. We've got some new members videos coming up there as well. So we've not done one for a couple of weeks. So we're going to make up for that with some over the next couple of weeks. You're going to have quite a few members videos. He says, only just into the window, but I am concerned. If we don't get De Jong, who is realistically out there for us? Neves rumours have simmered down too. Yep, it does feel like they have simmered down there. Dom Ram says, indeed he would be a good fit. 25 years old too. I'd take Kante. Yeah, Ndidi. Well, Leicester, I know they've not had a great season there. I don't know with Leicester. Got in trouble, didn't I, with some of the Leicester fans for criticising Wesley Fofana the other day, saying I don't fancy us spending £68 million on Wesley Fofana or 80 million euros. And I kind of went a bit OTT and I was like, even if it was 8, you'd be like, what? But I don't know. Leicester, they don't sell for cheap, do they? Can we get Ndidi? How much would he cost? Is that our budget blown? I don't know. If you could get him for a reasonable price, it's not the worst idea. I quite like him. It's just if you're going to spend 60, 70 million quid, that might be a bit of an issue because, as we know, the owners of this football club haven't sanctioned a lot of money in modern terms and what we need for transfers. Realistically, Erik ten Hag probably needs about 250 million quid this transfer window to really get this team sorted, to get in 5 or 6 decent players. He ain't going to have that. He's got half of that. So he's probably going to get in 3, maybe 4 and he's going to have to sort of do a little bit of bargain hunting, as they say, because people can go 120, 130 million, that's loads of money, what are you on about? It's not, is it? Come on, you know the dance now. You know how much players cost. If you get a decent player, and when I say decent, I mean like someone who's sort of, you know, can do a good job for Manchester United in the Premier League, you're probably going to spend 40, 50 million on him, at least. That's just the way it is. So how many of them can you get? 3. If you've got 130, 140 million, you know. It's not great, is it? Right, so we move on to the Frenkie De Jong story. Now, this was an interview, a sort of press conference when he's away with Holland. He was asked about United interest, and he said, "You're always flattered when teams show interest in you as a player. I am at the biggest club in the world. At the moment, I feel fine there." I think he said, so there's no news. So people looking at going, that's it, it's done, it's over, he's not coming. But I don't know. What do you guys reckon? Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Because there's a part of me that just feels like, what's he going to say? He's a Barcelona player. For all you know, Barcelona and United might not even come to an agreement. If he's sat in press conferences going, "I'll tell you what, can't wait to get out of the new camp. Can't wait to get down to Manchester. Get me out of the new camp, man. It's a dive. I want to get down to Old Trafford." And then the move falls through. Barca fans are going to go mad. And I always think you've got to be relatively respectful when you're a player at a club. I'd be the same if I was Manchester United. No one really liked it, did they, when Paul Pogba was speculated about, and he'd say things about going to Madrid and, you know, I love Madrid or whatever. People go, "That's not fair. You're a Manchester United player. You shouldn't be saying that." So Frenkie De Jong, I don't have a problem with him sort of saying that, you know, he's happy at Barcelona. I don't see that as an issue. Did I read out the Abhishek v Vijayakumar super chat? It said, after the De Jong interview, I think United should move on. If I have done, I've read it out. So I said, if not, then I've read it out now. Yeah, I think that it's one of those where it depends how you look at it. I feel a little bit like it's meaningless. I know, you know, a bombshell, because a lot of people are reporting that this is it, this is all. I want to know what you guys think, so I'm going to get into some of the comments because I don't know what you think. Patrick Mulford makes a great point here. I'm getting serious Di Maria vibes from this De Jong signing. Now, for those who don't know, and I'm sure they do, you might be a little bit younger, you might not remember what went on with Angel Di Maria. Angel Di Maria is at Real Madrid. I think he just won the Champions League, hasn't he? He had a very good performance in the Champions League. He's a very highly rated player. His assists were through the roof. He was sort of lauded at Real Madrid as being almost like the unsung hero of that team, you know, the one that sort of got all the assists and gave, you know, the likes of Ronaldo and Bale and all them lot, Benzema, the limelight. I think he was there, Bale was there, yeah. Anyway, he came to United. He did all right at first. I think he was player of the month, the first month or something. He did very well. But then he fell off a cliff. And the point that I think Patrick's alluding to is he didn't want to really come. He didn't want to move to Manchester United. It was a big money move. I think he wanted to stay at Madrid or go elsewhere. Came to United basically because of the money, because of the transfer fee was involved. I think it was around 68 million or something like that. I might be wrong. Forgive me if I'm getting the figures slightly wrong. Came to United, never really settled. He did have a little bit of off-field issues. I think someone tried to burgle his house, which is never nice. I've got no time for any of that stuff. You should be ashamed of yourself, you burgling houses. And I get it can affect your family. You know, you're feeling a bit intimidated. You know, your family have been or your family home's been invaded. But he never settled. And, you know, you've heard the comments, I think, from his missus, said she hated Manchester and things like that. But the point is, he was all more or less forced to move. And what Patrick's saying is, this feels like that with De Jong. I don't know. I think De Jong might be a little bit more open to the idea of coming to Manchester United than Angel Di Maria was. I think you've got to remember as well that Angel Di Maria was very successful at Real Madrid. De Jong hasn't been very successful at Barcelona. He's not been a disaster, but we spoke to Semra Hunter from La Liga TV, and you've probably seen all the reports and the comments about De Jong from Barcelona, people who watch him, report on him, and fans. He's done okay. He's not shone. He's not been like, we cannot let this guy go. He's done all right. He's been decent, Semra Hunter says. And now I say decent, it means very good. I don't think she meant that. I think she was meant he's okay. So that's why he's available, seemingly, because Barcelona need money for other signings. They're in for Lewandowski and one or two others, I think. They haven't got the money they used to have, so they need to sell to buy. He's a saleable asset. The only sort of problem is, well, the two problems, is he going to come, and can Manchester United and Barcelona come to an agreement over the transfer fee? I think we're looking at around 70 million quid. United, from what I gather, give 50 million now, 20 million later on or whatever. Barca want either 70 million up front or maybe a little bit more money. Sem Ossian says, it's annoying me that we're not prioritising a CDM, to be honest. We literally don't have one in the squad, and whilst De Jong would be great, we do have players, bad as they may be, to play that position. It's a fair point, this. We do have, he's a bit more of an 8. He can play, he plays as like a deep, he can play as a 6, as a deep sort of lying playmaker type player, but he's not a CDM who'll go and grab hold of the ball or necessarily, you know, snuff out attacks. That's not his forte, and that is someone we need in the team. Scott McTominay, that's not his forte. Fred, that's not him at all, and it's not even James Garner's. So that is a bit of an issue for me. Gaz Campbell says he hasn't once said anything negative about United. I don't think he has. BMW Racing 1974 says, be funny if he's sitting here next week saying Manchester United is the highest club in the world. Blade X, oh God, I've lost your comment. Sorry, Blade X, you commented just. I've lost it. It's very, no matter what it was very good, I'm sure. I was just about to. Oh, there it is. This feels like chasing Ramos again. There we go. Found it. Yeah, do you remember the Sergio Ramos rumours where we're in for him? Apparently. And then he was like saying things like, he used to be a United fan, didn't he, when he was a kid and all this. I thought, oh yeah, we're going to Sergio Ramos, and he just got a new contract with Madrid, didn't he, in the end? We'll have to wait and see. Amir Kakale says, the media overhyped something, never heard of such a thing. Colin Coupleditch says, how does De Jong's playing style compare to Pogba's? That's a good question, that. Get involved in the comments if you know. I think we've got a bit more of a tactical analysis on De Jong. I think it was Joe Smith who did was it Joe or was it Alson? I think it was both of them, actually. I think they both did a look at De Jong and how he plays and how he'd fit in and the sort of the way he plays. So have a look at that. There's a video on the channel where they examine De Jong's playing style. I know he can pick a pass. I think Joe said he can pick a pass like Pogba. Probably hasn't got quite the long range pass of Pogba, but he's quite good under pressure. Probably a bit better under pressure when he's sitting deep than Paul Pogba is. Paul Pogba, sometimes when he was deep, he could get flustered. Couldn't he try and hold on to the ball a bit longer? I think De Jong's a bit more quicker with his sort of passing and thinking when he's in trouble like that. So can play in that deep position a little bit more suited to. Sorry? Oh, there's a link in the comments there for the tactical analysis of Frenkie De Jong. So you're not listening to me just sort of giving you the brief summation. There's a bit more analytical side there. Some Hartley says, you know Pogba's left because Jay stopped calling him Paul Labille Pogba. Yeah, he's doing it all the time, didn't I? Well, I'll still do it now and again. Yeah, so it's a bit of a weird one with De Jong. Listen, I think that he's a very good player. He's a player that, if he comes into Manchester United team, you'd be like, yes, good signing, knows the manager, can do a good job for us, and can be a sort of important cog in that midfield. And we could do with him. If we don't get him, we won't get Eriksen. I'll be very disappointed, because then it's like in midfield anyway, you think, is that what we're doing? We're just getting a free agent, a 30-year-old free agent who, no disrespect to the kid, but people thought he was going to retire a year ago because of what had happened in the Euros. That's how you're fixing our midfield problem. When you've lost 2 midfielders and you finish 6th, that is a disgrace. That's not good enough. So we need top-level players, and De Jong is a top-level player. Eriksen is too, but we need more than just one who's there. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with this, but it does worry me slightly only slightly, that this deal is dragging on a little bit. It's not panic stations by any stretch of the imagination. Don't think we go, what's going on here? This is a shambles. Why haven't we got this deal done? Negotiations take time. When you've got a club like Barcelona, one of the biggest in the world, when you've got a player like Frenkie De Jong, a player who, is obviously at one of the biggest clubs in the world, as he mentioned in his interview, it's not going to be easy where you just go, right, get him now, and he goes, right, sweet, and Barca go, yeah, just give us whatever, all done and dusted. It's going to be quite difficult, but you would want United to start moving along quickly, because when you see all our rivals making transfers happen, you've got pre-season coming up. We fly out to, are we in Thailand or Australia first? Thailand. I should know, we're going. We're going to fly out to Thailand in, 2-3 weeks' time, is it? Or 3 weeks? So you'd want him on your pre-season. So let's see what happens with that one. Santa Knott says, De Jong isn't as spectacular as Pogba, but he's great at keeping possession and clever. Yep. Woodshed 97 says, watch the Young final game of the season at Nou Camp, and he ran the game, albeit they lost, but as an individual, he shone. Hit like button, please. Got over 2,300 people watching. I wish we had that many liking. Only 330 likes. Let's get to 500 likes. Come on, people. You can do it. Hit that like button. Jamie McFarlane says, Max Aarons, Neves and Tielemans all have Premier League experience and would improve us massively. All available without the saga spunk. Can we get them? All available. Max Aarons has been linked with us in the past, hasn't it? And that's been doing the rounds again. Ruben Neves, we spoke about him earlier. I'm not sure. Youri Tielemans. I'm not a massive fan of Youri Tielemans, I'll be honest with you. I get where you're coming from, but I'm not. He's not top of my wish list. Scott Davis even says 3 weeks to bring in 4+ players. Question mark, exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark. I don't think he thinks that's happening. Ty Lee says De Jong could be a good number 8 too, but he's a world-class number 6. Should we move on from De Jong? We'll see what happens. As always, we'll keep you posted. If we get a here we go, we'll be live. Don't you worry about that. Another story doing the rounds. Dean Henderson is attracting fresh interest from Bournemouth, and Tom Eaton is wanted by Middlesbrough, but will stay at United if Henderson leaves. So there's a bit of a sort of intrigue going on with our goalkeeper situation. It looks like David De Gea is going to be the preferred number 1 under Erik ten Hag. Dean Henderson, he's still at the club. Is he going to go? Is he going to stay? Is he going to try and fight for his place? Is he going to go out on loan? Is he going to get a permanent move? We'll have to wait and see. Could that something happen in pre-season? Could Erik ten Hag look at the two of them and go, actually, Dean Henderson, you might play more than just the odd Europa League game. Who knows? But he has got interest. And don't forget, he might still have ambitions of going to the World Cup in November with England. Saw Aaron Ramsdale last night for England, conceding 4 goals. I know they're not all his fault, but it's not exactly, a ringing endorsement for yourself if you're conceding 4 goals and you're part of England's biggest home defeat, I think, in, 80 years or something, 100 years? I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest with you. So, yeah, maybe there's a bit of movement going on with the goalkeepers. Maybe even, this is speculation. Erik ten Hag goes, you know what, I need money. I don't need 2 goalkeepers of that calibre. Dean Henderson can go to Bournemouth or wherever for a bit of cash. Tom Greenwald says, Ty chokes on what? I'm not saying now. This is a morning show, but it is one of my favourite ever YouTube clips. I'm going to leave it there. Thanks to everyone who got involved in the comments. Loads of great chat this morning, loads of great comments. We're going to be back later on. We've got, right, I don't know if you saw this story the other day that was doing the rounds about how 1.3 billion has been wiped off the share price, or the value, sorry. Is that the same thing? I don't know. I don't understand these things. Of Manchester United. The club has just lost a lot of money, lost a lot of value. We spoke to Kieran Maguire from The Price of Football. He's a football financial expert. He's a great guy as well. He's full of beans. We've got an interview with him coming up later. So that'll be out around, is it 1 o'clock? Yeah, 1 o'clock, that's coming on. So make sure you check it out, because it's worth watching. Because he's sort of explaining, could the Glazers sell? Is there going to be a bit of movement there? Can we get a bit of optimism? What's going on? Also, later on tonight, you've got myself and Joe Smith. 9:30, Paddock Live. That's the shift I put in, eh? 10:30 in the morning, 9:30 at night. Graft. Let's hope United start grafting and getting these signings done. I've been Jay Moy. This has been The Paper Talk. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.